Good morning. It is Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. Just waking up, and it is, well, I guess not just, I've been up for about 20, 30 minutes. It is about 6:37, and today is the first working day for the new year. So, it will be an interesting day to start the new year off. So we'll start with the seven stories from around the world. Just kind of a general breakdown. Gold is actually up. It hit a new record high. Well, not a new record high, but a new record peak of 1850. It hasn't been that up since around pandemic levels around 2020. So gold is continuing to steadily rise. 1850. Minimum wage is also going to be increased in at least 26 different states. What's interesting is that's not just blue states. It's going up in areas like Montana and South Dakota and even Missouri. Oil is down to about $79 a barrel. Interestingly, travel in 2022 was up. It was not quite pre-pandemic levels, but very close to. But the trend is continuing. Everybody's expecting both 2023 to be higher than 2022, with both online bookings and just sheer number of travelers. Um, to touch on that, those last three stories I think are very interesting. I know a lot of people like to talk about the fact that the recession is coming, and I think it goes back to Warren Buffett's quote of when people were greedy, be fearful. When people are fearful, be greedy. I don't think this recession is as predictable as people think. I don't also think that Jeff Powell's interest rate hikes are going to be as effective as he thinks they are. I'm not actually against interest rate hikes. I think we were way too low on interest for way too long, and it did untold damage to our economic system. I don't know if his rising now is going to save it. I see why he has to, but at the same time, I think there's bigger problems going on here. Printing money and COVID definitely changed the economy. QE definitely changed the economy. 10,000 boomers retiring every year is changing the economy. Um, the fact that minimum wages are rising is usually a trailing indicator. It's rarely leading. In a lot of the numbers that people were talking about, minimum wage going up to $15, $16 an hour, oftentimes doesn't really matter in the short term, simply because most places are paying more than that already. Here in Utah, most places you can go in and get a job for, $15 an hour at McDonald's. It's not difficult to do. So I think that this is a trailing indicator. However, it's not entirely insignificant either because it does create a bottom. It creates a new bottom, and therefore inflation is here to stay. So what I mean by that is currently, let's say McDonald's is hiring at $15 an hour. If the economic outlook changed, they might go down to $13, $12, $11 again as employees become more readily available. That's not going to be possible in a lot of these states because now the minimum wage is set higher. So these inflation numbers are kind of set. They're not going anywhere. The fact that gold is up, I think, is very interesting, and I think that means that inflation is definitely going to keep rising. Gold is kind of the reserve currency, right? It tells you how much uh, it reacts inflationary or deflationary to the market. Not always, but I think it's another one of those indicators. And the fact that it's going up in a good economic time uh, means that inflation is going to keep fueling this. Boomers who are retiring are going to keep fueling this because Xers, millennials, Gen Zers are not large enough to replace boomers. And I think that it's going to be a factor for the next 10 years. Also, my prediction, minor as it is, I think housing is going to be a problem for 10 years at least until boomers start downgrading as you get older, right? Most couples, empty nesters want to move into condominiums or downgrade into smaller homes because it's too large of a home, it's too difficult to manage. Why have all that empty space? So until surplus really just skyrockets, I don't think housing is going to go down at all. I heard a thing the other day that housing numbers are going to go down to 2012 levels, which ironically is the year I bought my house. and then plus or minus inflation numbers. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be very set that housing is not going to decline in a lot of areas. I know people keep saying the market is going down. Nowhere near me. Here in Utah, try to get a house for less than 450. It's not possible. We're talking single family homes. Um, and it hasn't really changed. I don't see price drops. I just see less houses coming to the market. I think people are just sitting and waiting for numbers to start going back up before they start selling. I've seen near work, there's a for sale sign that has been posted for probably at least 5 or 6 months. On my way there are several homes. They're not dropping their prices. It's been months that they've been on the market. The prices are not going down. Commercially, from a business standpoint, we were looking at acquiring another property, and the guy would not budge on price. He set a ridiculous price of, I can even tell you what it was. It was around just under 900K for a small parcel of land, and he was only willing to negotiate around 50,000 off of it, which was a ridiculous number, even in the midst of high interest rates. This is just from the last couple of months. So people are not selling; they're just holding. Surpluses are just not big enough yet for people to really start lowering housing prices. And I think, especially with gas still being very low, people are going to travel, people are going to spend money. I don't think this recession is coming in 2023. I think interest rate hikes are going to keep coming. They're going to try to slow the economy, but I think supply chain and I think employment is going to keep driving the economy forward. I would not bet on a recession in 2023. I think the stock market is definitely going to suffer because I think the stock market was overinflated, but I think the economy is going to remain strong. I do not see unemployment going down. Furthermore, let's continue down the story. Tom Zhu is the highest paid Tesla executive now in China. Not in China, no. Their Chinese executive, Tom Zhu, in China, is now the highest paid executive, second only to Elon Musk, which is very interesting because a lot of times I think Musk gets both too much hate and too much love. On the love aspect, I think it's very interesting that people think he's this champion of freedom when really he's very beholden to China. His connections to China are not a secret. And the fact that the highest paid executive in Tesla, second only to him, is now a Chinese employee is, I think, very telling of that. The headquarters of the company are still here, right? They're supposed to be the highest paid executive is supposed to be U.S. based, but no, they're China based because he has very powerful ties to that country. Again, I don't really dislike Musk. I think he gets too much hate. I don't hate what he's doing at Tesla, at Twitter. I don't have Twitter myself, but I have nothing against it, so that will be interesting. Finally, just minor thing, stocks are set to open higher for the new year across the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq, so that's good. Yeah, that's kind of the news from around the world. That's pretty much going to wrap me up here in just a minute. Like I said, I want to keep this under 10 minutes. I got to get started going to work. Just a minor thing. Interesting thing enough, my first video was about setting goals and because obstacles are going to hit. Anyone that watched my first video will see that even though I talk about January 1st, the video didn't post until January 2nd. Because that same day I had an internet outage that lasted for over 24 hours because we had a massive storm here in Utah. I think that's very appropriate for the situation. I had a goal of posting my first video on January 1st, and I wasn't able to meet it because of an internet outage. Now, that's something that no one predicted. I have never had internet go out in my house. I've had power go out. I have never had internet go out. I think that's very interesting that that happened, and that I should have had a contingency plan in place for that. Maybe I should have done it, the stream from my phone. Maybe I should have used. I can't use hotspot here on this computer because it's LAN based. But maybe I should have gone to work. Maybe I should have gone to my parents' house. Maybe I should have found an alternative. I needed to have a contingency plan in place, and I didn't, and I wasn't able to meet my goal. So that's something to consider. Always have those contingency plans. Either way, I got to get ready, going to work. You guys have a wonderful day, and set amazing goals. Bye bye.